Yeah, I'm starting. All right, we're live. What's up? Money Monday in full effect. John Melton coming to you live. Really excited to talk to you about building a personal brand. How many of you are excited about this conversation? Let me know in the comments. And as you're hopping on, if you're watching the replay, drop the word replay in the comments and let us know when you're watching the replay. If you could, that would be fantabulous. And those of you that are hopping on live, smash the hard button. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're out there. And I'm really excited. Let me know you're out there into the interwebs. Nadya will be joining us shortly. She didn't like her shirt. No, we really are live. I'm being dead serious.
Are you kidding? Good.
She's like, I was like, babe, we have to start.
I said, wait.
She's like, I need to change my shirt. And I was like, I'm going to start. And she didn't believe me. She actually thought I was faking it. She thought that was a fake introduction.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure. So you were messing with me to accelerate
baby,
my
you look
speed.
amazing. Wow, look at that shirt. Freedom motivated. I'm only looking at the words, I swear. But how many of us can appreciate wanting to generate leads?
Minimum.
And wanting to build a community, right?
Please.
We want to create abundance, as it says in Nadya's coffee cup.
Right,
Hashtag create.
Let me say a little something.
Go ahead, you say a little something. Aren't you guys excited that Nadya's joining us?
Thank you. Thank you.
Monday?
Yes, I'm very excited about that. So let's go ahead. So you guys, I think this is going to be the broadcast of all broadcasts, truth be told, because today we want to talk to you about how to launch your personal brand or build your personal brand or improve your personal brand, right? So so as we are getting a little bit like warmed up and fired up, and as you guys are joining us live, happy Money Monday.
Oh, something annoying about that. Money Monday.
Oh, that could be.
What's up, Melissa?
Video.
Shay, what's going on? Laura in the house. Marcos.
I had to tone it down.
Janelle, how's it going?
But you know what they say? You should never water yourself down because other people
they just have to deal with it, basically.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But I want you guys to drop
that's
into the
hilarious.
comments. Let's just do a little test here.
Okay,
all right?
yeah.
Let's have a little fun.
Sure.
When you think of us, what do you think about? When you think of John and Nadya, what do you think about?
Oh.
All right. And this is a good question because I want you to pay attention to the comments, but then I also want you to think for yourself and ask the same question. What do people think about you? Now, we're going to get into some training. We're going to get into some content, but it's really a great question because whatever people think about you, that's your brand, right? If someone goes to Google you, if they look you up on the social mediums, right? They start looking you up on the interwebs. What are they going to find, right? If they go to your page, what are they going to see? Are they going to see a spammer? Some might even call those people scammers, right? They're real skeptical of people like that, where they're very salesy and pitchy and they're like an infomercial. Or do they go to your page and they see a whole lot of nothing? Right?
Yes.
They Google you and there's nothing. I don't know what's worse, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, finding nothing or finding that you're a Pamela Anderson, right?
Yes.
Or, and this is actually an interesting conversation as well. Do they go to your page and they see value? They see a personality. They see someone that's fun loving, a mom. You know, I was talking about Amber DeLoof, one of our good friends and leaders on our team. You know, I know that. I just want to point this out though. She's a seatbelt advocate, right? She's an advocate for adopted moms, right? Like she's all about adoption. Like, so there's things that people know about her, right? But if she never sold a product, if she never promoted a product, she never talked about her business, how much money would she make? Approximately.
Yes.
How much money would we earn if we never promoted something that we make money off of?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's really that clarity conversation that we need to have today. So I think you're going to love this. And look,
I think so too.
I did talk about this on Friday night.
You did.
I talked about how I don't believe building a brand is like a simple duplicatable thing to teach your team. But how many of us, and we're going to tell our story, but how many of us we're in a situation where you're like, my warm market is fried. It's toast, right? Or you just don't want to go to your warm market. You're like, John, I don't even want my friends and family buying from me or joining me. Smash the heart button if you can relate to this conversation and you want to branch out. But would you agree that the majority of people starting in their home business, they have 100, 500, 1,000 Facebook friends. We don't need to teach them how to brand themselves.
Yeah.
We don't need to teach them to do anything outside of launch their business and make money. We don't want them caught up in the minutia of building a brand. All right. So this is an elevated conversation, but I'm pretty sure the majority of humans that have been following us for years now, you know that this is our passion. We were probably the first network marketers to truly use social media to build a brand. Like there were other, trainers out there, experts, if you will, that were using YouTube, they were blogging, but they weren't doing generic content on social media. And the only people we knew, remember the company we were in, the only ones that we knew that were doing videos back then, they were in a company called Vima. They were the YPR, Young People Revolution.
Yes.
Now they were doing videos, but they weren't branding themselves. They were branding the company.
Right.
You see the distinction. All right. Anyway, so let's talk about it.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys, let's start off. Let us know, which one are you? Are you A, B, or C? So, because I really do think that before we go into like these strategies, and I promise you guys, this episode is going to rock your world. We're going to bring you a ton of clarity. Clarity equals power.
Right.
But before we go into, okay, like let's elevate to the next level, let's get clarity on where you are. So have you already achieved tangible results, or are you just starting out? Where are you at? So A, you already have some results. B, you're starting out. Or C, you're kind of new, but you have created some results. Now, let me discern results, right? Because the beautiful part about building a personal brand is that you can really zoom in on your areas of passion, whether it's something you're obsessed with learning about, or it's something that you got really good at. It could be marriage, it could be parenting, it could be nutrition, it could be exercise, business, it could be customer acquisition, right? So there's so many different directions to go in. And what's really fun about building a personal brand, it's personal, right? And so you got to get started. And because as a person, you're always evolving, that means your brand is always going to be evolving. And this is why I think I like to talk a little bit about that, because for me, I remember being so paralyzed, right? When we first started building a brand. And we're going to tell you a story because there's so many lessons.
Nadya really struggled.
How we came to figure all of this out. So let me see what you guys are saying. Okay. So I see a lot of C's. Awesome.
So a lot of people are just starting out.
Some B's. Okay. So we have all of the above. D, restarting, says Stephanie. Yeah. Okay. You know what it is? Perfect. It's, you can show up and you can start, even if you maybe like started in the past and then life got in the way. You had to, take a break from social media. The beautiful thing about the world we live in today is you can start new. Every morning is a reminder that we can all start again. Right. Okay, cool. So if you already have created tangible results, then you can show up and share how you did it, right? What are 2 tips to how you've crafted results? And start paying attention, you guys, to people that ask you, hey, how did you do this? Or what about this, right? People a lot of times are so helpful around you because, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You're at this gorgeous multi-million-dollar operation, but you're in the frame and you're hanging on this beautiful wall and you can't see it, but other people can see it. If you're just starting out, then you can show up as a reporter, which means that you can, report on other people's successes. You could be learning something new every day, and then you can turn around and teach your ahas.
One of the greatest analogies we used to share is if I had a flat tire, I'm on the side of the road. You pull over. Now, let's say you've changed a tire once. I'm going to look at you as an expert.
Correct.
You're brand new. You've only done it one time. You didn't go to tire changing college. You don't have a degree. You're not a specialist, but you've done it once. And I've done it how many times? Which, by the way, this is true. I've done it 0 times. I'm all about #outsourcing. One time I had a flat tire on the way to a baseball game with Dylan. And luckily, we had left early, so I was able to get another dad to grab Dylan off the side of the road, take him to the game. And I had a cop pull over and actually change my tire free of charge, just did it to help me out, get me off the highway. But again, right? He was the expert. But I don't know if he did it 1,000 times or that was his second time doing it. But at the end of the day,
Good
you've done it
analogy.
once.
Yes.
You don't have to make millions of dollars or be a top earner to start teaching people and start providing value.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Before we dive into the whole building a brand, because it sounds really intimidating. I don't know if any of you ever become intimidated by the whole concept, because when you think building a brand, some of us here, I got to build a website and I got to start building an email list and I got to maybe hire an assistant, right? There's so many moving parts to it all.
Right.
But I think the easy conversation to have is, okay, so why don't we start out by talking about you need to share your story, right? People are going to follow you for the value.
Right.
And then we have to really zoom in on what are those Me Too bridges that you can bring forward. It's kind of like, my favorite show right now. Oh my gosh, let me know in the comments if you too are obsessed with ...
Oh,
no. Say it, John. Say it. Say it.
I mean, it's Queer
Just
Eye.
say it. Yes, Queer Eye. Okay, do you love that show too?
Nadya is obsessed, but it is really good. I will admit, it's really good. Yes.
And I'm proud to report that now I've recruited the rest of the family to be obsessed with me.
It's
and
true.
if you've never seen it, I definitely want to encourage you to check it out. Start with season 5 because there's some cool ladies that they do makeovers too. Matter of fact, the tagline for the show, it's more than a makeover. And essentially the premises, if you're unfamiliar, it's these 5 really sharp gay guys, and each of them have their area of expertise. So one does fashion, one does food and wine, the other one does interior design, then there's grooming, haircuts, etc. And the other one does mindset and kind of helps you overcome your limiting beliefs, right? And the one thing that they continue to repeat about, it's not about us changing you, right? So they have like this person that gets nominated by their friend or family member or whatever. So they walk into a situation, they see that there's obviously dysfunction, and they get to the bottom line of, okay, like what are the limiting beliefs? But then they work on highlighting the best pieces of that person's brand. Right. So for you, you already have a brand. You already have this amazing story, right? God put you on this planet.
It's on Netflix.
To lead his people to freedom. And a lesson I learned a long time ago is that when you're really stingy with the gifts that God gave you, well, no surprise, your bank account is stingy with you too. So it's not about you becoming this like of a personal brand. It's about you just zooming in on those highlights, those results, those pieces that make you so uniquely you, and then just showing up with that story over and over and over again. So my takeaway from my conversation, if I could just highlight my biggest takeaway from what I just shared, A, watch Queer Eye. I promise you're going to get inspired. And B, let's focus on telling your story. So there's 4 parts to telling your story. We're going to teach you this because this is going to be a beautiful conversation for you to get good. This is going to be powerful for you to attract your perfect tribe, right? Your vibe is going to attract your tribe. But then also nonchalantly, as you're sharing your story, if you do it correctly and strategically, this is going to be a beautiful way for you to also enroll people in your opportunity, for your products, whatever it is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So we want to highlight those attributes.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. So story, telling your story. And then we're going to demonstrate this by sharing our story with you so you can kind of see how this unfolds, right? So the first piece to it all is, who are you? What is your background? So if you're a teacher and you say that you're a teacher, instantly, if I'm a teacher too, I go, oh, my girl, I'm a teacher. She's a teacher. It's a Me Too bridge. It's an opportunity for you to share something, a piece of information that's going to relate, because chances are, if you're a teacher and other teachers, you guys are going to have common ground, right?
And it doesn't have to be just professional background, right? Like, who you are is much more than just what you do for a living. Exactly.
Russian, international. Okay,
hammer.
so who are you? Number 2, why were you looking for something new?
Right.
Okay, so who are you? Why were you looking for something new? How did you find it? And number 4, what has it done for you? What
Right.
kind of transformation, right? So when we take a look at humanity, we take a look at mankind. And I got this from Brendan Burchard, one of my very favorite people. And he says there are only 2 stories in all of mankind. There's a story of struggle, and then there's a story of progress, right? So how can you showcase struggle like before you started building a personal brand,
Right.
before you started your business, before you found this product, and then after the transformation, if you will. And it doesn't have to be that you lost 200 pounds in order to, have a powerful story. It just needs to be struggle. And then we need to demonstrate that there's been progress, because people buy results. Like, that's what people want.
Boom.
Okay. All right. And the caveat to all of this storytelling, right, is that we want to tell our story in such a way where the people that are listening are not going, so what? Maybe explain, so what?
Yeah. So that's a great point to make, because I think it's really something that we think about and, we talk about. And, also when we were driving the other day, we were discussing. Do you guys see that's an example of so what? Get to the point. So what? Who
Because in my mind right now, I'm like, baby, did you hear my question?
Right. So what? We were having a conversation. What was that place we were eating at? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And then this happened and that happened. And you're just long-winded and you're talking about things that don't matter.
Like, what does that have to do with the cost of tea in Russia?
Exactly. You're so cute.
Are you finished, baby?
Carry on. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Is it my turn? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you tell our story around us building a personal brand, how we came to figure that out?
So there was
and
really
the progress.
Yeah. So there was really 2 things that we saw value in building a personal brand. Number 1, and this was a big struggle for us. I personally was sick and tired of having to find people.
Yeah.
Like, I knew I could taproot. I knew I could work with teams. I knew I could do all the things that a leader does. The only thing I didn't like doing was finding people. Like, I didn't want to have to talk to people at the local grocery store, the shopping mall, walking around. You know what I didn't want? I didn't want to feel like everywhere I went, I'm like, that guy looks like a rep. That lady looks like a great person for me to recruit. Like, I didn't want to have that mindset of like, everywhere I go, I have to talk to everybody at the gym. I have to talk to all my son's baseball buddies' parents, right? Like all of his teammates' parents. I don't want to have to do that. I want to meet people that are looking for me, that are looking for solutions, that I can help serve. I want to attract people to me. This was the reason I wanted to start doing videos, building a brand, generating leads, building community, right? The other thing was, because I didn't want to just generate leads for my network marketing business. That was the first instinct. That was like, when I saw the brand conversation and I saw, the opportunity to use social media back in 2013 to start putting out content and doing videos and stuff, that was definitely one aspect, right? I didn't want to have to cold call or buy leads, all that crap. I hated that stuff. I sucked at doing it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. And I don't think most people enjoy it. I don't think most people want to talk to anybody within 3 foot of them. How many of us know the 3 foot rule? Does your upline still teach you that? Right now, it's got to be the 6 foot rule. Did you get that?
We did.
Feet.
We all got that.
Sorry, bad joke. Too soon. Anyway, the second thing was I didn't want to have one stream of income. How many of us know what I'm talking about? Now, this is elevated conversation. This is not for those of you that are just starting out and building a brand, but I was thinking long term. I was thinking long term because once we started to create results on social media, you know what happened? People started asking us, how are you doing it? What are you doing? And all of these experts were monetizing. They were writing books, creating courses, selling coaching. They were doing affiliate marketing where they could refer products, they could refer services. So to me, it made sense to build a brand for both of those reasons. 1, lead generation for my network marketing business. Number 2, I could sell info products. I could monetize. There's so many ways to make money when you have a community that trusts you, when you have a following, people that look to you for expertise. They look at you for inspiration, motivation, education, whatever. We like to do what we call entertainment.
Yes.
Ain't that right, baby? So we knew there was value in it, or at least we were starting to believe there was value in it. We didn't really know because we were just getting started and we didn't know what to talk about in videos, but we started sharing our story. We started sharing tips, providing value, and we started to have people from other network marketing companies following us. So I think it's really important to get that clarity with, how can you help solve someone else's problem? What do you love talking about? What are your passions? And how can you integrate that in a personal brand? I think it's so important. And the other thing too is we really found we liked helping people. We liked helping network marketers, online entrepreneurs, people like us that maybe they were earlier in their journey, because we didn't really start branding ourselves till 2013. So I guess we were about 12 years in the profession. We already had a decade under our belt. So if someone's a year in, 2 years in, 5 years in, right, we can have a conversation with them and help them because we've already gone through that initial year, that first 5 years, that first 10 years, right? So we could help those people. And I think it's so important to understand that. And then really we figured that the best way to go about doing this was on social media. Our dog's trying to get in.
All right. I love that.
Out. I'm sorry.
So why personal branding? Let's check it out. So first of all, personal branding defines how you live and engage both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And when your brand is aligned with who you are, then every moment of your life, both personally and professionally, is fulfilling, valued, and happy. So one of the biggest transformations I think that's going to happen for you is once you have your conversations dialed in and you consistently show up and you consistently have people that tell you, thank you for doing that video, or thank you for sharing that piece of your journey with me, because would you agree that you have gone through a lot and you've conquered a lot and you've uncovered so many answers? So if you really train yourself to consistently turn around and teach, and if you know just 1% of information, 1% more than the person next to you, they're going to look at you as an expert, right? So the hardest part of this all is just getting your mindset on point that God does not make junk. You have so much value inside of you. And a lot of times you're too close to your own goodness, right? But once you start to share it, you're really going to start to see that, wow, the knowledge that I have that I a lot of times take for granted, it's actually a gold mine for people, right? So it's so important to understand that creating and maintaining a brand is an ongoing process. And sometimes it just, especially for those of you guys that are in the beginning stages and you're considering about building your brand and launching your brand, listen, you have to initially operate on faith and show up over and over and over again. Yes, it sounds scary. Yes, it sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm putting myself out there sort of thing, right? But you got to get started with it. And I promise you, as you take each step, it's going to continue to unfold. So like for John and I, right, when we first came to the internet to quote unquote build a brand, because the pain point was we had a 6-figure income, but everything we were doing was offline. I felt like a horrible mother. I married this guy and I like him. So I wanted to spend more time with him other than driving around God's green earth, building the business. So we were really at crossroads in our business at the time. And we had to make a decision, either leave network marketing altogether.
Which we almost did, yeah.
We were at a point where we go, you know what, it's not worth it, right? So either leave network marketing profession, find a different way to make money altogether, or B, figure out how to do it online.
Right.
So that pushed us into the online space. We did it all wrong in the beginning because we showed up as an infomercial channel. You know how Facebook like shows you memories? And I swear, when I scroll down, I cringe because it was just it was just bad. You know what I mean? And here's maybe a teaching point. If I could just encourage you at this moment right now, if you're not looking at your memories every day and cringe, you're not growing fast enough. So make that to be like a checkbox you want to check off. So as you go into like this journey, you got to step it up and mess it up, right? And if you feel like you're so uncomfortable and you hate doing videos, so you just are telling the story, but it comes off as cheesy, it doesn't matter. You have to just put it out there and have the vision that'll be like comedic value later, right? Or a cringe fast situation that you can turn around and talk about. But anyways, so for us, it was that crossroads where we had to make a decision, right? And we turned to social media. At the time, we didn't know what it was going to turn into. But our number one goal back in 2013 is our number one goal. And I want to challenge you right now to identify your number one initiative. But our number one goal was to create a six-figure income online in network marketing. And we put all of our brain power and all of the resources into figuring that out. And that meant that we would have to continue to show up and do videos. I'm going to show you guys a before and after picture when we first started doing videos to encourage you. Like, we all start out as a hot mess. You know, the kind of mess you put them in a microwave and leave it there for like 5 minutes, right? Anyways, so we started doing it and it was very messy. It was not very pretty. And with personal brand, you have to start out ugly.
Yes.
And because today in 2020, we live in a world that's over branded and that hurts us, right? Yeah. So don't let that intimidate you. What's really important is that you show up as version,
1.0.
Yes.
Better than version 0.0.
That's right.
Because most of us live in a state of fear and uncertainty, and we don't know how people are going to respond. And you're worried about like your brother-in-law or your parents, your spouse maybe is actually anti you talking about anything on social media. And you just have to tell them, shh. Either you encourage me and support me, or you get out of my way. And I might even have to invite you to my VIP block party. Hopefully you don't have to block your parents or any family members, but you get my point. It's like, you don't need that negativity. And that's typically what holds people back. It's like one or two family members, maybe a friend from work, that they're just worried about getting made fun of. So I just want to point out a couple things. So we'll do a little Q&A here throughout. In fact, maybe we'll give away some cash at the end.
Yeah.
For those of you that are engaging and supporting and asking questions. But Monica says, I like sharing recipes, but I sell nail strips. So it's a great question because I wanted to give this example real quick. We had a woman that got on one of our Saturday calls a while back. And I just, this story stuck with me for so long because I didn't know this could be a thing, but she wanted to start building a brand. She felt like her warm market wasn't any good and people weren't really responding to her curiosity posts. She was reaching out to people to prospect them. She just wasn't getting any traction. And in her defense, she didn't have a big network. She didn't have a lot of friends on Facebook, and she never promoted a product or a business before on social. But she started building a personal brand around scrapbooking. She joined a bunch of scrapbooking groups, made friends, provided value, introduced herself in those groups, answered questions, gave people ideas and tips. Like, y'all should be tagging people in this and sharing this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. She didn't know what she was doing, but she started building a personal brand around that conversation, and she started building a following. She started to have people connecting with her inside of that group. Now, here's what happened. Because she followed the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, it was value, it was tips, it was her sharing her story, selfies, inspiration, silly memes, just putting her personality out there. But then 20% of the time in her Facebook story, on her Facebook wall, she would promote her product. She would do a before and after picture, an unboxing video. So she would still promote the products, but just not as often as she provided value and built relationships. You see? And she ended up selling over 3,000 in product that month, acquired a bunch of customers. We highlighted her on a Saturday call because that's the ticket right there. Yeah. So what are you into? Where can you go and promote the things that you're into, that you're passionate about? Where can you go help people and build relationships? Because Nadya kind of touched on this, but the easiest people for you to prospect and relate to and connect with are people that are like you. right? Similar background, similar personality, maybe close to you in age. Maybe they have kids the same age. Maybe they're from the same city, state, or country. Does that make sense? You speak the same language. This is probably for some of you very obvious, and some of you are having that light bulb moment, right?
Yeah.
In fact, smash the heart button if this is helping you some. Let us know. I've learned so much from you both, and now I have my team who all watches and uses your methods. Awesome, Jennifer. I love your encouragement. I needed this today. I keep finding reasons to not go online, even though I know I should. And Colleen, you know, a lot of that has to do with our own limiting beliefs, like Nadya talked about, where we get so caught up in analysis paralysis, and we have these limiting beliefs, this stinking thinking, if you will, that we have nothing of value to share. And it's just simply not true, right? Like if you're over the age of 20 years old, like you've already been on this planet for 20 years. If you're over the age of 30 years, 40 years on this planet, you have stories, insights, feedback. You can share warnings, things not to do, right? You can share tips and strategies that have worked for you, not just in business.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I said, the woman was talking about scrapbooking, joined scrapbooking groups, but then was able to sell her product that had nothing to do with scrapbooking because people liked her. They trusted her.
Yeah.
They related to her. Are you guys getting this?
But can we talk about what a crazy time we live in nowadays, right? That you can identify, oh, you know what? I love playing video games. Do you guys know there are kids on the internet now that love playing video games? Or there's this one kid on YouTube that all he does is unwraps toys and demos them, or does a review on them or something like that.
Makes millions.
Makes millions of dollars. A child. Okay, so what are the steps? How do we get started? Okay, so let's talk 5 steps to launch, build, or improve your personal brand. Tip number 1 is that you have to show up consistently. I mean, I think that one should be number 1, because we talked about all different phases, but the truth is you are going to start out ugly. You are going to start out without knowing all the answers, and you're going to cultivate the mindset that your brand is going to evolve because as a person, you continue to evolve, right? And I'm reading you guys' comments, and there's so many people that say, oh yes, me too. When I check on my memories, I cringe, right? Now, where do you get started? You guys, I'm a huge believer, right? That you have to start with the path of least resistance and just start out by showing up and creating one piece of valuable content every single day. Okay. Now, I want you to take a screenshot of this and identify for yourself what voice, or maybe better said, what form of communication comes natural to you. Like for me, as an example, if you tell me, hey, Nadya, all you got to do is just tell a story in text. That gives me massive anxiety.
No, I'm the same way. I don't want to like write out a story.
But you're really good at it though. When you type, John, you're really good at what we call copywriting.
But my point is, I would rather do a live video.
Rather not. Yes.
And by the way, you're really good at it too. But do you see how people... It's not about not being good at something. It's really about what do you enjoy doing.
Oh, good.
Like I don't enjoy typing out a long message because it takes too much time. I'd rather just do a video. But there are some of you that would rather communicate via tell a story. You're really good at writing.
Yes.
Like that's fine. Do I think you should do both? Obviously.
Yes.
But path of least resistance.
Yes.
Start off where you're most comfortable.
I agree. And just start. You just got to start. Like that's going to be, if you walk away with nothing else from today's video, but just you're encouraged and you're courageous and you just start, I promise you, you're going to figure this out if you show up consistently. So every day. Now
just wanted to point this out, like with the auto.
Yeah, it's only on cell phone.
But still, they can't see the slides with that. Are we able to like not have
If you turn it the other way, probably it's better.
No, same thing. It blocks the slides.
Anyways, all right. Well, thank you for that.
I just thought we should know because if I don't remember to tell you this now, someone had pointed that out, and I just wanted to say.
Okay. So let's go ahead and identify. Matter of fact, drop into the comments. Let us know what comes more natural to you. Is it to do a video? Is it to maybe do a story clip, pre-record a little something? Is it for you to type? or take pictures, right? All of us are so different. So start with one, but then I want to challenge those of you that are more advanced. I want to challenge you to continue to push your limits, you know, even though there's certain things when we first started building our brand, it was super uncomfortable for me, but thanks to network marketing, honestly, my spirit is I have learned to live outside of my comfort zone so much that I'm like always pushing my limits, right? Okay, so video, we're always going to say video is going to be the most like efficient, the fastest route to building your brand. And the video day gets lots of paychecks coming your way.
I want to say one thing also, because we are still huge advocates, obviously, of live video. But I will say this. Now you've got TikTok videos.
Right.
You've got Instagram and Facebook story videos.
Right.
Where it's just like a 15-second video, 1-minute video where you're just talking, you know, real quick and uploading it to your story. Hopefully you guys all know what that means. You know, there's other platforms now that have other forms of video. IGTV, YouTube, right? Even YouTube right now, we're live on YouTube, but you can do pre-recorded.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, live video is still my jam. It's still what I encourage people to do. You're not going to get as much engagement typically on a pre-recorded video if it's the same exact conversation you do live. Like if we pre-recorded this, it would not be as good as a live video. Does that make sense? We wouldn't get as much exposure to that video.
Lauren, she says, I went to acting school, but so nervous about going live. And did you know, that nervous and excited feels the same exact way? It
True.
Really does. I still get quote unquote nervous before we go live, but now I translate it as I'm really excited to show up for my people. Right. So that's that. But then also you are most of us, we're going to be really bad at video when we first start. And that's why you got to start. So my tip number 2 for you is you want to embrace imperfection.
Right. Embrace the suck,
if
you will. Like Casey says, I struggle with all of it.
I like it.
I need to gain way more confidence with social media. And the only way to gain confidence, unfortunately, is by doing the thing you're afraid of.
Doing the deed.
It is what it is. So like Lauren's afraid of videos. That's why you have to start doing videos. Baby, and here's what we found.
Are you going to embrace walking through the woods?
Maybe. Here's the truth. Some of our favorite people, Julie Burke, she did our video challenge, and now that's her number one thing is doing videos to build her personal brand. And she's done really well with her brand. Bob Heilig.
Yes.
We Nadya specifically, we both encouraged him and tried to push him to do videos. And Nadya was all over him. Like, dude, you got to do videos. Dude, what are you doing, Bob? Bob, where's your video? In fact, we recorded a video and he wouldn't even upload it. We still, to this day, don't know what happened to that video. He deleted it. Right? He never uploaded it. She was all over him about it because she knew he had the ability to really crush it doing videos. A year after that video was recorded, he finally started going live on Periscope. I almost forgot the name of it. Periscope. And that's how he got comfortable doing live videos. In the beginning, he only had like 3 people watching him, right? And then he built it up over time. And now that's how he built a multi-million-dollar business. Danelle Delgado, Nadya got her to start doing videos. And she still talks about it to this day, how her first video was so embarrassing and she just hated it. And she wanted Nadya to delete it, but Nadya was the one that uploaded it on her wall, tagged Danelle, and Danelle's like, we got to get rid of that. She's like, bury it, do more videos. So we understand that it's normal to have a fear of video, a fear of, look, we're all our own worst critic. How many of us are our own worst critic, right? We don't like seeing ourselves on camera. We don't like hearing our voices. I think the advantage we had when we first started doing videos.
We had each other.
No. We had been doing presentations for so long
we had each other.
that we got used to it. But
you say yes and
but you were really hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And she was really good at video. You know, hold on, let me back up. She was really good at doing presentations. In fact, in the very early years, I was so terrified of public speaking.
Right.
I was nervous for the guy on stage. I was nervous for the presenter. That's how afraid of public speaking I was. And then Nadya was literally contacted because she was in Indiana. I was in Baltimore. She was contacted by my upline to get on the phone with me to convince me to start speaking in front of the room because they couldn't get me to. I was so stubborn. I told them if they ever called my name, I would walk out of the room. And they knew I wasn't kidding. I'm like, I'll bring people. You told me when I signed up that all I had to do was put butts in the seats. And that's what I'm doing. You didn't tell me I had to go stand in front of the room. It's not okay. You liars. Anyway, so years later, it's funny because when we started doing videos, I was the one that was like, whatever, I don't even care. I'm just going to do videos.
Yes.
They said, just post videos and things will work themselves out. And I believed it. Nadya would do videos. And for some reason, you were like, not you on video.
No, I was acting.
She was like acting.
Yes,
yeah, she had an act. If you guys have ever done Landmark, they talk about the act. And she just couldn't be herself on camera. So anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent about it.
Anyways,
but, it's really
but the way that I conquered it
Embrace-
is you just have to do it. Like literally tip 2 is so powerful. Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Just know you're going to suck. And for most of us, it's going to take 50 to 100 videos.
Yeah.
Now, if you start doing videos and it takes you way less, it's because you waited way too long.
Right.
So it's just anything like anything else. You're going to suck at it. So my question to you is 5 years are going to go by. In 5 years from now, do you want to say, yeah, you know what? Today I'm living the dream because I got myself out of the comfort zone. Or do you want to tell your kids, you know what? Your mother, she was afraid of doing videos. And therefore today we're still struggling. You guys, sometimes it helps you catch that bird's eye view when you have those limiting thoughts, right?
Amen.
You have to elevate to a bigger vision, like 5 years from now. Think about that. What's going to happen for you 5 years from now? Would you rather say, you know what? I sucked my first 50-100 videos, right? But I figured it out eventually. It's just how that works.
You have to remember why you got started in the first place.
Share with us in the comments below.
Share with us in the comments. I'm curious. Like, how badly do you want to help your parents financially? How badly do you want to retire your spouse from the job that he or she despises?
Yeah.
How badly do you want to get out of debt? How badly do you want to buy your dream home? You should go to a car dealership and drive your dream car. You should go to open houses.
Go drive a Tesla.
$2 million homes. Yeah, once you go Tesla, man, I'm telling you, you won't want to drive a regular car.
Really?
Although we still have the Maserati, and I still love that car. Are you going to get rid of it
now?
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Oh, baby. All right.
I think it's good to always have one gas guzzler. But does this make sense? Like, you need to go to the Rolex store and try on some Rolexes. Like, what are your dreams?
Oh my gosh,
How
I love
bad
that. You can suck while cashing checks.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Earn while you learn. You have to remember why you got started. It's so important to remember why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because the bigger your why, the harder you try. And I think what motivated me, what drove me, you know, because I had this question actually in an interview the other day on a podcast, and the woman asked me, you know, what kept you going, even though you were struggling for all those years? What else am I going to do? Like, I didn't want to have a life of mediocrity. I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. I didn't want to be a broke ass. I didn't want to go back to waiting tables or going back to even doing mortgages. I made a lot of money in mortgages, but it was stressful, and I practically lived in my office. And I didn't want that life. So I was willing to do what was uncomfortable, because to me, it was more uncomfortable to be broke. It was more uncomfortable to live check to check, live month to month, right? Have more month than money. It was way more stressful to think about being a bad father and not being able to raise my kids, because I had to go do home meetings every night. So, you know, for me, it was like, I have to figure out a way to make money from home. And the only way to do that, in my opinion, was to build a business on the internet. Thank God we didn't have to deal with this whole quarantine thing and this whole shutdown pandemic situation 10 years ago, 15 years ago. What would we have done if it was 2005, 2010 to build our businesses from home? Like, nobody was really using the internet to build a business, at least not at the level we can today, right?
Yes.
There was nobody making millions opening toys in 2010 on YouTube.
Opening what?
Right?
Oh, toys.
Yeah.
I didn't understand where you were going.
Making slime.
Yes.
Like, what do you do for a living? I make slime on YouTube.
All right, perfect. So now that we got on board with embracing the suck, where do we start, right? How many of us overthink, even creating one piece of valuable content every day? You're a little bit paralyzed, right? We overthink it. Well, let's give you a tip. You don't have to be an original songwriter to create content. So in the beginning, remember we talked a little bit about just take the path of least resistance.
Right.
Choose the easiest modality of conversation, whether it's video, text, picture, whatever, and then take something that you got inspired by, but put your own twist on it. This is why every morning I'm a huge believer that, listen, you got to start your day with gratitude. You got to start your day with personal development, because if you're looking to lead a company, you're looking to lead a team, you're looking to lead a community, you got to start by leading yourself first. Right. So starting your day with, first of all, grounding yourself in the fact that how amazing it is that you have vision, that you have ability to build a business. Right. You have social media, like you don't have to hustle belly to belly. You can hustle belly to many through power of the internet nowadays. Like I think when you start your day with that gratitude, and then on top of that, you layer some inspiration or some really cool ideas, a beautiful message. And then you go, okay, what's my number one takeaway from that? Or what's one result that people continue to ask me about? And you put that into a spin on social media. Let's not overthink it, right? And then tip number 3 for you is listen, don't yell.
Right. I like what Janelle says. No broke ass over here. Regina says, retire my husband. Aww. Look, and we're listening to you right now. We're reading your comments. You know, you really need to start paying attention to what people say about you, how people are engaging with you. This is so important. And here's a great pro tip. Actually, I'm glad you shared this. Always give credit where credit is due. So if you listen to a podcast that inspired you, you read a great book, you watched a video like this, take some notes. Like you guys, literally, this is all we did in the beginning. Ray Higdon talks about ILT, Invest, Learn, Teach. You know, you can literally take 3 to 5 notes, right? 3 to 5 tips from any video, any book, any course, any program, any seminar. Yeah. Turn around, do a video, right? Turn around and just share. Hey, these were my big takeaways. It's as simple as that. Because a lot of us get so caught up on, I'm not an expert. I don't have anything of value to share. Great. If you're still believing that, even after all the things we just said in this video, then what can you share that you learn from this conversation or from some other conversation that provided value? Because if it helped you, don't you think there's other humans that this would help also? Right?
I love it.
Whenever you learn something, you're like, wow, that was helpful. Turn around and share it.
I love it. Okay. Now, for those of you guys that are really brand new to this conversation and you legitimately don't even know where to start, John and I created this really awesome 5-day branding challenge. So if you go to mylifestyleacademy.com/brand, you can register for free. And we created this really cool member area with an audio where every day for 5 days, we're going to give you like an inspirational message with some instructions. And we created a couple of downloads for you that you can go through and answer questions. And you'll start to see that there's like repeating answers that continue to happen for you. And it's going to help you zoom in on, okay, this is where I should start. And then you're going to proceed with that. Remember, building your personal brand is so much like playing a sport. You cannot figure it out in your head. You have to pick up the ball and you have to play with it. Like, I'll give you guys an example.
And I just want to, hold on. I want to make sure they have the link because they can't see it with the words over top.
Yes.
So it's mylifestyleacademy.com/brand. My
lifestyleacademy.com/brand. So I'm going to share with you guys a little something that I've been doing proactively with my family for the last couple of weeks. So last Sunday, we had this beautiful idea to do a family picnic. So Christina and I, the girls, right, on Sunday, like late morning, we got a cooler pack. Like we went to the stores, got some really cool drinks and snacks and fruit and stuff like that. And we went to this park and we walked around with Toby around the lake. It was a beautiful walk. We sweated a lot. And then we had a picnic. Right. So yesterday I thought it would be really cool to go to a different park, right? And it's a beautiful time with the family to just walk and get grounded in nature and do all
It wasn't
these
really a park. It was
things.
more of a jungle.
So some of us were not prepared to go into the woods. Baby,
Because it was raining and there was mud everywhere.
it was not that bad. You said to wear tennis shoes, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought we were going hiking on a trail, not in the woods, in
yes,
the rain
it was
and mud.
hiking trail.
Guys, it
in the
was
woods.
literally mud everywhere. And it rained again really hard. Thank God we were in the car when it did.
Anyways, what am I telling you, right? What am I telling you? It's that some of us, we just have to, just think outside of our comfort zone, and we have to embrace new experiences. It's like, do we play this sport or that sport? Honestly, should you conversate around marriage because you've created results, or should you talk about,
Fitness.
parenting or fitness?
Right.
So you don't
money.
know whether you're going to like it or not until you conversate about it.
That's right.
And here's a sure
like a sport, you got to pick up the ball, play the game.
Yes.
You don't know if you're going to suck or enjoy it.
Or
you just,
a park, you don't know which one you definitely love or don't love until you show up
woods.
at that park, right? Conversation. Anyways, so here's what's interesting, you guys. If there's area of expertise that you're really educated with, but when people ask you questions around that particular topic and you answer, but you notice that as you answer this particular thing, you're yawning through your nose, right? It's a sure sign. Maybe it's not an area you want to brand yourself around.
Right.
Like, for an example, when John and I first started doing videos, I go, one of the areas we created a result in is our marriage.
Right.
And then we tried to do a couple of marriage videos, and then we noticed both of us were yawning through our nose.
Yeah,
it was like a snooze fest for us to
we
talk
don't want to
about.
be marriage experts.
No.
Even though we work well together and we've become a power couple, we just we weren't feeling it.
Exactly. So what we found was we could nonchalantly integrate our relationship, but we would do that in business. We would do that in marketing.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So, but that took us actually doing it to figure that out.
So we have another training that's happening in 8 minutes.
Okay.
We're not doing
4.
it, but one of our leaders is.
Okay.
So I want to do that, but also I want to answer questions at the end. And we said we'd give away some cash. So let's just
2 more tips, right?
Yes, exactly.
So number 1, show up consistently. Number 2, embrace the suck. Number 3, yell. Listen, don't yell. I was making sure, baby, you were listening to me.
I was listening.
Listen, don't yell. So
Have
just be listening to the feedback, right? Be asking questions. Number 4, which John, you already mentioned, be a community builder, right? Be building a community. And there's so many different directions that we can go in, but you can do that. Choose one social media platform, show up, and then build up community with your conversation. And number 5, and this is an advanced tip, but this one is an exciting one, is that you can outsource your omnipresence, right? So once you get your brand, what I like to say, dialed in, right? Because you showed up consistently, you played with different conversations, you found your areas of conversation that really bring you joy. And it also hits that sweet spot with your audience where it's definitely something they want to learn from you.
Right.
Once you identify those topics, well, then think of it like this. What if you could hire a team? Like today, John and I are super blessed. We have an amazing virtual team. You guys have met them. So we have virtual assistants that help us with writing our stuff. So on our blog, right? If you're watching this video right now on our blog, our video editor took a live video, made it an edited version. And then we had our writer who created an article below the video. If you're listening to this right now on our podcast, our video-podcast manager took the footage, right? And made it podcast specific. So what's really cool is once you do your job, and that is you, again, figuring out specifically what is it that you stand for and what areas do you want to show up and use your voice in, then you can have a team help you and put you everywhere.
So outsource and repurpose. Nadya, and you have a whole blog training on that.
Yes, I do.
Already. So if you go to My Lifestyle Academy,
.com/blog.
You can search outsourcing, and she has an epic training on hiring
if you're ready for that.
a virtual team. So
that's awesome.
Mendy says, really need advice. I was going somewhere great, then burned out, and I've been trying to get back into my work, but I took too long of a hiatus and I need help. Honestly, it's just doing the do, just showing up again, doing exactly what you did before when you were feeling good and you had momentum. It's just like anything else, right? Like if you stop working out, what's the key to start working out again? You just go to the gym, you show up, but be careful, because if you haven't worked out in 5 years and you try to do like a 3-hour workout, that's a bad idea. So just start Nadya talked about it, the path of least resistance. What can just help you start to take those little baby steps like you did in the beginning, right? So you just start the fire from the bottom and just start with, just a match, right? Just getting a spark going. And then eventually, hopefully, turns into a bonfire and you get all fired up again like you used to be.
And Mandy, what I would say to you too is just learn from that and figure out, okay, what was that landmine? Like what was it that kind of tripped you up?
Right.
And then you prepare for that. So for an example, if you're an introvert, for you showing up every day to do a video might be cool for a little while, but eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Right.
So the way that I thought for myself is minimum, if I would just need to show up once a week, and then you can just use that content. Why is he barking so?
Can you guys hear Toby barking?
Oh my gosh.
I'm just curious.
I know. Let me.
Someone must be here. All right. So Monica has a good question. So she says, babe, how do you like this one? How do you know?
Toby, what are you doing?
How do you know what people think about you? You ask them, right? You could do a post on Facebook. You could ask some of your friends and family. Just ask them, what do they think about you? What do they think you're great at? It's really just having the conversation, right? Now, of course, when you're also creating content, you're putting yourself out there, just watch, what are people saying? How are they responding? How are they engaging? All right. In fact, Monica, we're going to send you some cash. That's a great question. Send an email to our support team, support@mylifestyleacademy.com. Include your PayPal. We'll send you some cash money. Who else had questions? Oh, I like what Brandy says. I want to be a role model for my daughter. I want to show her that you can be successful with building your own empire instead of building someone else's. Boom. I love that. That's good stuff, Brandy. Lauren says, I started this during one of the darkest times of my whole life, and I've come so far mentally. I have a long way still to go back. Network marketing in the community has quite literally changed my life. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Information constipation. Yeah, that'll get you. A lot of you overthink and you get caught up in that analysis paralysis. You just have to figure out a way that works for you to hold your feet to the fire and hold you accountable. Because if you have a big why, a big desire, you can't get caught up in analysis paralysis and procrastinate and put off what you need to do right now, right? What you need to do today. And it's like, I think this is a big reason why personal development is so important, because there are days where I don't feel good or I'm not as motivated. So I drink a little bit of my Logic coffee. That helps. And then I listen to some PD, right? Network marketing is a compensation plan with a personal development plan attached to it. Right? So the more you work on you, the more valuable you become, the more success you'll have, the more money you'll earn, the more people you'll impact. And that's what it's about in network marketing and on social media. It's about impact. It's about making a difference. The more people you serve, the more they'll serve you. Does that make sense? And by the way, don't show up on social wanting to give value just to get money, to get leads, and you're trying to pull from an empty bank account. I just know that the more I show up and the more I support people and encourage people and provide value, money comes to me effortlessly. Leads come to me daily. And you can make this your affirmations, right? Google some great affirmations, because I think it's so important for us to start believing and speaking life into existence, because what you speak about and you think about, you bring about. And if you think, oh, I don't know what to talk about on social media, I'm not good at social media, I'm not good at videos, I'm not good at this business, then you're right. If you think you're amazing and you have tons of ideas and you can help people and you're here to serve people and you know that you can make a difference in people's lives, and you don't get attached to the outcome, you don't get attached to the negativity or the adversity, you don't get attached to the lack of results because you're thinking big and you know you're here for a purpose. And that should drive you every day. Leads come to me daily. Exactly. Money comes to me effortlessly. My business is booming. Can't believe how much of a difference I'm making in the lives of others. Even if it's only in the life of one person, that's still better than you not communicating, than you not projecting, than you not putting yourself out there, you not building the relationships. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I love that. For me, is very hard to think what to talk of different topics. For example, one day leadership, then money, etc. I mean, is it okay to talk about? Absolutely. Do not get caught up in thinking you have to talk about the same thing all the time. In fact, that's boring, right? That's super boring if you're only talking about the same thing all the time. I'm constantly mixing things up. I'm constantly talking about different topics. But here's the thing. Once you get to a high level, at some point, you might really get your niche, right? Your brand dialed in where you're like, this is my thing. This is what I'm going to talk about for the majority of my content, right? For the majority of the time, I'm going to talk about network marketing, or I'm going to talk about fitness. I'm going to talk about well-being. I'm going to talk about spirit, my spirit. How do you say that word? Spirituality. Why can't I say that word? What in the world is happening? This is how I know I've been talking too much, baby.
Wow, baby.
Right? Spirituality. Is that it? Is that how you say it? How you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Spirituality. That's terrible. And it doesn't even matter if you're any good at talking and speaking and communicating. Would you rather say I am educated or I is millionaire?
Oh, baby.
I mean, I'm just saying. Smash the heart button if you want to be a millionaire. Speak life into existence. Exactly. You know, what are the things you're most passionate about? You know, is it, you know, helping people with meal planning, right? Meal prep, getting in shape. You know, are you really passionate about a particular religion? You know, are you a particular, you know, rock band, right? Or you just love like, you know, U2, right? Like, what are you into? What are you excited about, right? Are you a big advocate, like I talked about in the beginning, on adoption, right? Are you a big whatever you're into? Now, I would be careful talking about hot buttons, like hot topics, like, you know, I wouldn't talk about politics. I wouldn't talk about the president. I wouldn't talk about being a Republican or a Democrat. If you want to talk about that, that's up to you. But I wouldn't talk about abortion. I wouldn't talk about any of that stuff. Personally, I would stay away from that stuff. It's just my personal opinion, all right? Why? Because you're going to piss off half your friends. You're going to piss off half your network. Now, you might say, well, I don't want to attract those types of people. But you have to understand, it's not cool to bash someone else's belief. All right. So if someone else has a different religious belief, right? They have a different political belief. They love the Trump train, or they're anti the Trump train. If you talk about that stuff, like imagine I was on your team, and let's say I have a huge part of my organization that hates Trump, but I'm on your team and you're talking about how you love Trump, and you're talking about how, you know, the far left is crazy, and you go on this tangent about that. Can you imagine that you're not only going to hurt your business, but you're hurting my business, because I might have a huge part of my team that can't stand him and you love him. Are you getting this? So you have to think it's not just about you. So I would avoid those hot button topics. Like, I wouldn't talk about stuff like that. It's good to be controversial, but be respectful. It's good to be controversial, but be respectful. Does that make sense? Yeah, you could talk about that. You could talk about, why do people settle for a regular job versus a network marketing job? Sure. You know, but that's just like one topic. I don't feel like that's a brand, right? You could talk about in general why you love this profession. You could talk in general why you love being a part of you know, this amazing company that you're in, but you wouldn't make that like your whole brand, right? Like, I don't think that would make a lot of sense. Great content, bro. Appreciate y'all. Melanie says I have to delete some posts. So I already gave away cash to one person. Let me see if there's another good question. I feel like I'm so passionate about many things. How do you narrow it down? You just start talking about all the things you love. You start showing up consistently, right? It's like I said, one of my leaders, she's really big on seatbelts. Amber's really big on adoption. She has the thing she's passionate about. She loves sharing her weight loss journey. Those are all totally different things, but it's who she is and it's what she's passionate about. So you can talk about other things, but keep in mind that you want to also talk about your products. You want to talk about your business, right? You want to find ways to promote what you do and the company you represent without saying the name of the company and doing it strategically, right? Being smart about it to create curiosity. Now, creating curiosity around your products and business, that's a whole other conversation. But I'm just trying to help you with building a personal brand and attracting people to you, because if they like you, there's more likelihood they'll do business with you. Capiche? Angeline says, I do morning affirmations every day. That's awesome. Yeah. And again, like maybe you are really big into affirmations. You could create a whole brand around affirmations and, you could talk about personal wellness. You could talk about taking care of yourself. There you go. I rock this industry through my service to them and their dreams. I love it, Janelle. That's good. All right. Let me answer one more question. I'm just looking for one more question. So how do we talk about things we are passionate about? How do we tie it into the product? So Joni, that's a great question. Joni, we're going to send you some cash money for Money Monday. And of course we went over our time, but that's okay. I'm going to answer this last question. Joni, send an email to support@mylifestyleacademy.com and include your PayPal address, please. So Joni says, so we talk about the things we're passionate about. We're sharing tips and ideas and we're providing value, right? It's not just about talking about what you're passionate about, but you want to teach, you want to inspire, you want to educate. All right. If you know us, we like to do entertainment. So we like to have fun. We like to teach. We also like to entertain you, right? We want you to have a good time. So you tie it in because think about this. If someone starts following your content and they like you, and they like your ideas, and they like your inspiration, they like your stories, they like your sense of humor. When you share that before and after picture, and you share the story of this person that's using the product, or you do an unboxing video, or you post in your Instagram stories, and you're talking about, your results that you're getting on the products, or you share a testimonial of one of your customers, the person that has been following your content is now going to say, well, what's that product? Or what's that company? Or can you, send me a sample? How can I get some information on this product? Does that make sense? I'm telling you, like just this past weekend, I acquired 3 new customers personally, and I enrolled 2 new teammates. These are people I did not know. I met them on social media. How did I connect with them? They found my content, right? They sent me a friend request. They started following me on Instagram, right? They found me because I built a brand. I was putting out content. And the same thing happens, by the way, with my network of friends. I have friends from high school that'll reach out to me once in a while. Old mortgage friends that'll connect with me or send me a message and ask me what I do. Actually, I had a friend request this weekend. So watch this. I wished someone I'm friends with on Facebook, her name's Missy. I wished her a happy birthday. I get a friend request and I send this lady a friend request, or I send her a message and I said, hey, thanks for the friend request. I don't remember her name. Let's just say it was Susan. I can't remember her name. So I get a lot of friend requests. I said, hey, Susan, thanks for the friend request. Great to connect with you. She's like, yeah, I'm just sitting down with Missy and she was talking about you. And she knows that I'm a part of this other network marketing company and that she said I should follow you for training tips. So do you guys get this? And yes, I have Joy. I do have my affirmations written down. I read them every day, every night before I go to bed. Absolutely. Let me do one more question. I see a lot more questions coming in. How do you get interaction through crazy algorithm on social media? Brandy, I would not get caught up in the algorithm. I would not get caught up in that stuff. I would just look to show up 1 to 2 times a day on my newsfeed, on my public wall. And then I would also look to post more often in my story. And you mix things up, you test things out, you pay attention. What do you love talking about? Where do you get fired up? How do you get excited? What content inspires you to keep doing more of that type of content? And what is your audience responding to? What is your audience interacting with? All right. Anyway, okay, guys, I got to wrap this up. We're 9 minutes over. I talk so much. I get so excited.
Wait, what did you just say?
I ran 9 minutes over. So we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
If you want to build your personal brand, go to mylifestyleacademy.com/brand.
Yeah, baby.
We got a free 5-day branding challenge you're going to love. mylifestyleacademy.com/brand. Check it out. You're going to love it. And we'll see you next Monday for another episode of Money Monday.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, y'all. Peace.